In this video, I'm going to show you around Panama City, the Albrook neighborhood, take a hike through the Metropolitano Natural Park, and show you the Albrook Mall, and more. Are you ready? Let's do this. It's interesting when you take a look back and see how far you've come. The memories you've made, the people you've met, and the changes you've gone through from solo travel. I spent months planning and gearing up for my trip to Panama, packing and downsizing what I would take, and all things considered, I still could have scaled down some more. But live and learn, right? I'll spare you the story about getting here from the airport. Greg, the homeowner, is an interesting guy. He literally was a rocket scientist before retirement. He loves his dogs and other animals. His housekeeper Maria made some delicious breakfasts. My favorite was the Spanish tortilla and smoothies from the fruits growing in the yard. Let me introduce you to Rocky, the Cotamundi. He is visually impaired. If not for the food he eats here, he would likely have died. Here are some other inhabitants from the Canal Zone. The chance to see exotic animals in Panama is what helped to sell me on choosing Greg's house on Airbnb. Since I don't travel like a typical tourist, I like to walk or bike around the area I'm staying in to get a feel of how the locals live. When the U.S. had a military presence here from the 1920s until the Torrijos-Carter Treaties of 1979, and finally handed over to Panama in a ceremony in October 1997, the Albrook neighborhood was home to the families of officers stationed at the former Albrook Air Force Base. Some of the former site of Albrook Air Base is now home to Marcos A. Gelabert International Airport. This airport is smaller than the major airport, Tocumen, the one I flew in and out of, but I did use it to fly to Bocas del Toro. Panama City also has its major bus terminal in the area, which I arrived at returning from the western part of the country. Later on, I will show you the Albrook Mall. This neighborhood sure has a different feel from the rest of the city. I recorded this footage with my GoPro Hero 10. Thinking back on how I used to record back then, when I was just starting out, I would record clips sometimes of minutes, like this. These days I find myself only recording mere seconds of footage for projects. I can tell you this, recording shorter clips makes it a lot easier to find things during editing. And from here in Albrook, I think I was only able to produce 1 or 2 long-form videos before the problem arose with the loaner laptop. Guess I'd better make a mental note of this intersection so I don't get lost later. Another thing I'd like to point out is that the world was still trying to get back to normal after the COVID pandemic. I had wanted to jump down from Panama to Colombia, but I had learned that Panama had a quarantine order in place, and Colombia was on its list of countries involved. If I had visited Colombia, I would have had to quarantine in a government-approved hotel. Here is the Olympic-sized swimming pool I read about on Greg's PDF file he had sent me before my trip. I bought these pumas before my trip. They survived 2 provinces and 2 islands of Panama, Lisbon and Portugal's Terceira Island, Tampa, Florida, and 3 months in Barranquilla before the souls blew out 2 years later. Now here's something you don't see every day. A croton plant growing on the side of the road. I really wish these places were open, but when the outdoor temperature is optimal for walking here, businesses aren't always open yet. I saw a lot of construction in this area while I was here. I hope to see the changes when I return one day. Greg said that some of his guests like the Palo y Mango restaurant. They're obviously not open yet, but I'll come back tonight and check it out. Palo y Mango means mango tree. And return I did. The music was pretty loud and they were busy, so I decided to try Restaurante el Tenedor, which means the one with a fork. Tenedor is basically a small sports bar with a basic menu offering hamburgers, empanadas, arepas, chicharrones, and the like. I ordered a Panamanian beer and some empanadas. The girls were Colombian, pretty and friendly, and very helpful when I asked for help later and couldn't get a connection for Uber later and took a taxi home. That was my first dining experience in Panama City.
Good morning, friends. I am at the Metropolitan Nature Park in Panama City.
It was a warm morning with an occasional rain. This was the only time I ever used my light rain jacket, and it was probably a bad idea because it felt more humid that way. The park has a lot of these infographic stations and signs to read and learn from. Sendero means trail. The park has 3 different trail loops of varying difficulty. My main interest in this tour was to hopefully see some wildlife. The terrain here at times is pretty hilly. As you can see here, this was a bit of an aerobic workout. The Metropolitan Natural Park opened in 1988 as a protected rainforest area within the city of Panama near the canal. There are a variety of birds and animals here, including the monkey marmoset, the ñeque, macaws, squirrels, etc. From its nature trails, you can experience its forests, landscape, and panoramic views of the capital city. It is home to 227 species of birds, 45 species of mammals, 36 species of snakes, and 14 species of amphibians. "75% of the park is covered by tropical dry forest of the Pacific, an ecosystem that has almost disappeared in other parts of the country. There are approximately 284 plant species here, including many species of trees, large numbers of creepers, epiphytes, orchids, and mosses. This is the nursery part of the park where they grow indigenous plants. That was on the way out, so I decided to go back and take a second trail. I wonder what all these dilapidated buildings once were. I decided to go take a look inside. This is an example of how nature reclaims the land in absence of human upkeep. I found this area quite a contrast to the hilly trails. More old buildings. If I had paid for a guide, they might have told me. I wonder how old this is. This paved trail was a lot easier than hiking the hills. Lots of families walking here. This is the Bradley crane, used by the Smithsonian for research of the rainforest canopy. Here we have another lookout point. This is by far the steepest climb of the entire park, and that was a bit of a workout. And here is the reward, this incredible view of Panama City from Cerro Cedro, or Cedar Hill. Time to head back. I still haven't seen any animals yet, only people. Lots of friendly people. Finally, some wildlife, a band of coatimundi. When I approached this pond, I thought I was seeing raindrops, but these kids were looking at turtles. At least from a wildlife perspective, this tour wasn't a total bust. Time to head home for a shower. Taxi! Panamanian restaurant chain Nacionsushi was founded in 2014 and has 40 locations, mostly in Latin America, and a new location in Miami that opened in September 2025. Besides sushi, their menu includes bao buns, keto rolls, crispy pizzas with a sushi rice base, noodle dishes, taquitos, and innovative cocktails such as the Golden Guy and Sangria Nacion. And for dessert, dulce de leche wontons or mochi ice cream. I ordered the Godsuki roll and the Rolls Royce, and washed it down with some Balboa beer and a large sake. I love this place and regret not trying it earlier when I was over in David. Now let's go check out the Albrook Mall.